Great news for thousands of community college students in Philadelphia. All unpaid tuition and fees are being canceled for those enrolled during the pandemic. School leaders say they're using COVID relief funds to make it happen. BNC correspondent Astrid Martinez has the story.
And the pandemic didn't stop the student debt from rising. Numbers show that many college students were struggling to pay tuitions, specifically those of color. So what universities are doing by clearing this debt is that they're saying they're giving students the intent time to focus on their studies and getting their diplomas without having to focus on the financial burden. A surprise for Philadelphia college students.
That would have been great.
The Community College of Philadelphia will forgive outstanding tuition and textbook costs for at least 3,500 of their students. The move will provide much needed relief to students affected by the pandemic and who were unable to return to college.
For people who are trying to be financially secure, it can be a bit debilitating, having to worry about paying off your debt first before pursuing other whether business ventures or investments, stuff like that.
The learning institution will pay the balances with money from the federal stimulus package, about $2.75 million. Only students enrolled at CCP between March 13, 2020 and the end of the spring 2021 semester will be eligible for debt relief.
For Temple, we were down about 1,500 students last year, and we will see a decline this year as well, about another 1,500 students. And so we do know affordability is a piece of that.
To allow these students to continue their studies, Temple University has already distributed $29 million to students.
We provided that money directly to students. They decided how they wanted to use it, to either pay their bills and come back to Temple, or for living expenses, or for something else.
The university also has an additional $39 million to hand out.
In this round, we are giving students the option to allow us to pay down their balances. We're not allowed to do that without their consent.
Around the country, universities and colleges have already received $76 billion to help students in need. South Carolina State University, the state's only public HBCU, will use money from the American Rescue Plan to cancel $9.8 million of student debt. Dallas College used money from the Emergency Fund for Colleges to cancel student loan debt for 14,000 students. Wilberforce University, America's oldest private historically black university, canceled all student loan debts and fines for classes for both 2020 and 2021. Delaware State University, a public historically black university, canceled up to nearly $800,000 of student loan debt using the American Rescue Plan. And while students say that getting their loans paid off is great, they also would like to see the cost of admission lower. In Philadelphia, I'm Astrid Martinez for BNC.
Virginia State University is the latest HBCU to clear unpaid tuition and fee balances for students. The debt relief is for students who were enrolled during the pandemic. The school announced it was able to forgive the balances thanks to the Federal CARES Act. This is only for VSU balances, not outside student loans. At least 11 HBCUs have put money toward reducing student debt this year.